Welcome to After Dark at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, featuring Katrina Ness, Vanessa Collins, and Ted Ings. This episode is brought to you by BG Products, partners beyond products. And now for your hosts, Ted Ings, Vanessa Collins, and Katrina Ness.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable's After Dark show. We are coming back from our week-long break strong with our very special guest, TREVOR SHANNON, who is the Price Smart Product Manager for Dynatron software. So everyone, welcome TREVOR.
Thank you.
TREVOR, great to have you. Great to see you, and honored to have you on the Fixed Ops Roundtable. And Vanessa Collins and Katrina Ness, thank you. We missed you last week, and welcome back to, I guess, what is reality, Katrina, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, Vanessa and I are back from our 90-degree weather vacations, and we woke up this morning with a little bit of snow on our car and a lot of disappointment.
All right. Well, Tully, welcome from the West Coast. Great to have you here. And now, Vanessa, we are live tonight, right?
We are live.
All right. So we're going to bring comments in, everybody. If you've got questions for TREVOR tonight or just want to chat, Tony Owens, I know I have a question for you. If you really did dye your mustache, I had a question just before the show, if that was for real. So I know you want to let us on a little bit about that. Before we do, we are coming up close to the big event that's going to be happening in May at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, the 90s event. And Katrina, do you want to tell us a little bit about that and when that's coming up?
Of course. So this will be our 90s Rewind event happening Monday through Thursday, May 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th. And you can get your complimentary tickets now at fixedopsroundtable.com. We are actually giving away a free Apple Vision Pro on behalf of Caesar Augustus. So make sure you get your complimentary tickets so you are eligible to win and have your name entered in the hat for that amazing gift.
Whoa, wait a second. We're giving away an Apple Vision Pro, are we? Wow.
Yes.
I love that. There's probably going to be some requirements like registering for the show, right? I think I'm hearing that.
Yeah, so Vanessa and I made a post, and we'll be making some future posts about how you can throw your name in the hat in different ways. And you'll have to do a couple of different simple tasks to get your name entered in. And hopefully you will have a chance at winning this amazing, super new Apple product.
Sarah Van Tine, I want to get one of those. I don't know about you, but Sarah, good evening, and look forward to seeing you here on the show on Wednesday night. And all right, Tony Owen says that it washed off, so there we go. But you're right, Tony. She is a superstar. So all right, let's get on with it. Oh, by the way, we have some trivia, right? A little bit later on tonight with 90s pictures. Vanessa?
Yes, we do. We have 5 new 90s superstars to guess, so make sure to stay till the end, usually the last 6 to 7 minutes, and we're going to play some trivia. It'll be fun.
Did we get this guy's picture yet? Larry Sherman from the Nilo company out in California?
Did we? That's a good question.
We're going to find out tonight. So exactly, Sarah. And I think Sarah might welcome into the mix as well. Robert Miggs, good evening. So TREVOR, Dynatron software, exciting stuff. I know the ladies have some questions. Real quick before we get started, what is Dynatron software? What do you folks do? Because we hear about it all the time on the roundtable from dealers who are having great success with it.
Yeah, absolutely. We specialize in multiple different things. We have Price Smart, which is the division I'm the product manager for, which is going to be really market and data-driven pricing solutions. So we look at pricing optimization, compliance. We have our File Smart division, which specializes in the warranty increases, so applying for labor and parts increases. We also have Market Smart, which again, very data driven. You know, we have so much data, we are able to leverage that in our marketing campaign. So we kind of, you know, those are our 3 main areas of focus, along with Sell Smart, which is our service advisor training. So kind of got a little bit of everything when it comes to fixed ops.
That's awesome.
You're in Florida. I know there's a dealer that we've had on several times who's got dealerships in Florida, Chris Saraceno at Kelly Automotive Group. And he's been on just raving about Dynatron and the great success. And they've had this now for several years over there as well.
They have. Jim O'Connor's actually part of that group. He sits on our board. Kelly's down in Melbourne, very familiar with them. Great group.
All right, ladies, over to you. All yours for Trevor.
So you mentioned that PriceSmart is just a branch of Dynatron software. Do you want to dive into a little bit more of what your role is under PriceSmart?
Yeah. So PriceSmart overseeing really all aspects of PriceSmart. How can we, from a software side, how can we better assist our clients with, again, that pricing, specializing in pricing optimization, market studies. We do mystery shops for our clients, providing them data on aftermarket clients, aftermarket competitors, along with placing them into virtual performance group, which is going to be like manufacturers in their region. So we can really leverage that data to make sure their pricing is essentially perfect.
Wow. And if I can follow up on that, how important is having the correct pricing and having an advisor to help the dealership, an outside set of eyes, do that, Trevor? How important is that?
Oh, it's very important. I think it's becoming more important as our technician shortage is becoming more present. We got to be able to afford those guys. And how do we do that? Is through our pricing. And we can't just raise prices. We'll push away all our clients. We got to really be strategic with that. And using that data, again, just going back to it, what are your aftermarket competitors charging? Looking at the labor matrix that you have in place. Labor matrix, Atcom brought that on years and years ago when I was young in the business. And, really labor matrix is more complex than I think most dealers really look into it. You got to know, where are our technicians flagging hours? Where are our high frequency areas of the grid? We got to be very, assure that we're not just elevating our hourly rate over and over and over again to where we price ourselves out of the market. So really having that data to look at it and say a dealer, majority of your repair flag times come in between an hour and 3 hours. So really we need to target our ELR there and, maintain a strong ELR in those other areas. But, that's really where it's being affected. And then also when it comes to labor matrix, are we charging the right price for EVs and heavy duty vehicles and those types of things? So that's, really important.
Yeah, and brilliant that Les Silver kind of spearheaded, this whole thing about looking at the pricing, because that was a real need in the dealerships, ladies. And you'll hear a lot more about it tonight from Trevor. So,
yeah. So next question, how should maintenance pricing be handled?
Maintenance pricing is delicate. It's very exposed to our clients. It's probably the most shopped services that we offer. Being able to look at it, real high level, what are other competitors charging? So we got to take that into account. We need to take into account what are we paying our technicians. We have to be fair with the technicians, but we got to be fair with the dealer, as well. So knowing how do we affect our ELRs, again, pricing, labor price divided by our hours. So we got to maximize that. We got to be fair to the parts department as well. So again, just having all that data to be able to analyze that and assure that we're, pricing everything perfectly. So maintenance is, just as important for sure.
Mm-hmm. So we talked a little bit about like the shortage of technicians a little bit ago.
There goes that Katrina again. Okay. She always leaves us in suspense on some of these questions.
It always does this. Oh, sorry. Okay. I'll finish my question. So like I said, we talked a little bit about the technician shortage, but what are dealers doing today to afford top technicians?
I think it really goes back to, ensuring that we're charging the right price. Obviously we don't want to, impact our GP percentages. So we got to keep that in mind. But we got to be able to afford those guys. And again, looking at that labor matrix, assuring that we have those prices right. Labor work mix is going to be equally important, making sure that we're dispatching those right jobs to the right technician. We don't want a job that we're, a very competitive job that we can have a, lower or entry level technician do. We don't want our top guys doing that. We want our top guys focused on that, more challenging work that we're charging a premium for.
Yeah.
Katrina, I think you and I have 90s internet, okay? Because I've had some challenges as well. Tully Williams, I don't know if you know that name on the roundtable, Trevor, but Tully says it's all about the hours. And a lot of these metrics, some of which you've mentioned, and when maintenance comes into play, that things like effective labor rate, average hours per repair order, a lot of these metrics, which have been the standard in the industry, it's kind of like baseball, okay? There's now a lot of new metrics that have come out, but Tully says the most important one are the hours, because everything really happens when we sell those hours.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if we're not selling hours, we're not selling parts, we're not selling labor sales. It's all about the hours. That's absolutely true.
I like it. Good comments coming in here as well. And Larry Sherman, you're right. Parts does sell hours, right? So much.
For sure. Definitely.
So I know we touched on technicians and maintenance pricing. And what are some other tips or tricks? I know we talked a little bit about the work mix. Just any other tips and tricks in general?
Yeah, I think one of the things that, the automotive business has kind of, I don't want to say failed on, but, kind of setting that career path for a technician. Technicians make really good money. It's a, very good career, but we attract in, these entry-level technicians, and we don't set a real good predefined path of, here's the training you need to do to reach this next level of technician. Here's the next training you need to do. Here's how long it's going to take, and really show these guys that it's not just a job after high school to make a few bucks till you figure out what you want to do with your life, but they can really make a career out of it. I think if we, as a whole, do a better job of kind of setting up that career path for them, we, hopefully can attract some more guys into the business. It's been good to a lot of people.
I spoke with a dealer in Albany, New York, where it's probably snowing tonight. Okay, it's still March. Tom Restino at the Paula Automotive Group, big Chevrolet dealership, big Ford, Mazda store. They've got a juggernaut in fixed operations. He's a dealer operator who really understands the fixed side of the business, and he is just going on and on how Dynatron has really improved. I won't say the dollar amount, but it's improved their bottom line. I don't know if you want to speak to that, but how important is that with all the things that are, all the forces that are happening right now in the industry, that are putting pressure on dealerships?
Yeah, so I mean, there's so many ways to affect the bottom line. Our warranty increases are huge. We provide a lot of income to the dealers from being able to, apply for those warranty parts and labor increases. But to do that, we have to kind of go back to that customer pay pricing. We got to make sure we're maximizing effective labor rate. We got to make sure pricing erosion isn't a problem. We have so many stores that, their pricing is great, but they're not, holding their service advisors accountable. So they got their pricing set right, and then, service advisors discount it all the way. And really, if that pricing is set the way it should be, there should be minimal discounts other than your marketing campaigns to drive in new clients. But, the service advisor coming to you as a service manager and saying, oh, well, I had to discount $200 to sell this job. Well, that's a training issue with that service advisor. That's not a pricing structure problem.
And how often is that going on? Every day, every hour, Trevor?
Oh, it's huge. We see a lot of dealers come on board with us, and they really don't think they have a problem. And then, through our software, we can expose, how much money they're losing. And it's again, it goes back to that customer pay dollars that they're losing, but it's also, the opportunity that they're stepping over on these warranty increases. You look at, an increase of $5 to $7 or $12. I mean, some of the figures that we see is just astronomical when we go for these warranty increases. And a higher volume store, a $7 increase for every warranty hour you flag is astronomical.
But Trevor, there's some stores getting a lot more than $7. Okay,
Oh,
and it.
Absolutely, it's yeah, definitely.
Now, by the way, so back at the dealership, what's the awareness on the technician side as well? Because they're aware that, especially it seems in the last year and a half, there's a lot more dealers filing for that warranty, not just the labor increase, but the parts as well, Trevor.
Yeah, parts is one that really it's amazing. The day of getting reimbursed at 100% or better. We have several dealers well over that 100% reimbursement for parts. Well, did we ever think we'd be there? No, but it's again, pricing goes so much further than just labor. Parts, it's the same way. Having the correct parts matrix in place, knowing the high frequencies of the parts matrix, where are you selling parts, and pricing those to where, again, you're maximizing that markup percentage. So again, you're making money there on the customer pay side, but you're setting yourself up for that warranty increase, and it just brings dollars into the dealerships.
This comment from Sean Kingery. Sean is vice president at Kaiser Automotive Group.
Mm-hmm.
He oversees 8 dealerships in Wisconsin, which you probably know already.
Yes.
But he talks about the advisor changing the sell amount and controlling discounts and holding everyone accountable. How big an issue is that? Because I think it's huge.
And that's what we find when we bring on a lot of dealerships. They'll look at their discount and they'll say, oh, my discounts are only 1%. Okay, that's great. But then we go in and we can expose to them that your service advisors aren't discounting. They're just changing the labor sale price. And, through our software, we, even with a parts or a labor matrix in place, we look at every repair order and we say, okay, at 2.7 hours, the sale price should have been X. It wasn't X. Here's how much variance there was. And here's, essentially what you left uncollected. And we train our service advisors to look at that daily. And I mean, it's impactful for sure.
Trevor, this really is a science in being able to coach and help dealers. And not only that, but to maintain it, right? To keep this sustained over the long haul. Talk to us about that, because typically a lot of this wears off over the short and medium term.
Yeah, and that's, most of our dealers get a huge increase in that first year, and we show them, okay, here's everything you've been able to do, but here's our plan for year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, where we continue just to maximize and grow this, and then once we get that pricing set perfectly, now it's okay, how do you sell more of it, and that's where our Sell Smart program comes into play. So we come on site, we train those service advisors, and now we're holding a good ELR, we're holding a good parts markup. Now we're selling more of it. It just all flows down to that bottom line.
Tony's reinforcing that ELR. I thought ELR was a band back in the 70s and 80s, Trevor. Oh, that was ELO, right?
Yeah.
Electric Light Orchestra. ELR is effective labor rate. And it's been one of the measurements that dealerships have used for a long time. And, talk to us how that enters with maintenance, though, because I've been told, and I know for the most part it's true, you can really control that if you don't accept any maintenance business. Tell customers not to come back for 3 years and shoo away all those small tickets. You could have an amazing effective labor rate.
Yeah, you absolutely can. And one of the things we do at Dynatron is we don't just measure effective labor rate like most of DMSs do. We actually categorize all your labor. So we look at your competitive, which is, we're going to look at just your oil changes. What is your effective labor rate there? We're going to then group together all of your maintenance. We're going to measure the ELR on your maintenance. Same thing on repair. So then we can really, strategically look at it and say, okay, just because your effective labor rate's going down, we can give you that reason behind it. A lot of times we see SellSmart comes in, we start training service advisors. We're selling a whole bunch more maintenance in a store. Well, all of a sudden that total ELR is going backwards. A lot of times dealers get scared by that. Well, if your maintenance has a lower ELR and all of a sudden now more of your hours are coming from maintenance, of course you're going to see that ELR go backwards. And that's where, really being able to accurately measure that repair mix becomes critical.
And there's a lot of general managers who run dealerships who came up on the sales side, Trevor, who don't have this fixed ops knowledge. And I think they need a coach like you, like Dynatron. What do you say?
Yeah. So, I mean, service is sales. I've said that for years. Service departments should be run like sales departments. A lot of times we try to correlate different metrics, from the F&I office or from the sales floor, and how that kind of relates into service. So, you got your ups, which are your appointments. Your menu closes in F&I is, your ASRs, your additional service recommendations in service. We look at, one of the things we measure is sales percentage on maintenance items. So we can look at a dealer and say, hey, your average Ford store is selling alignments on 7% of the vehicles that come through the service drive. You guys are selling them at 3. Couple of clicks of a button, we can show them, hey, if you could get that to 7%, here's how much more gross profit you're going to make every month. And trying to really relate, all of the things that we do in a service department, if we can correlate that to sales and communicate that to the general manager, I think they understand it far, far better, Same thing with pricing. We talked about service advisors discounting all, changing labor and discounts. There's no salesman out there that's, changing the price of a car. They're desking it to the sales manager, and the sales manager, if it makes sense, then the sales manager will, adjust that price. I think we need to focus on that in service too. Can a service advisor, desk every RO that, is declined? No, but, if we focus on some key ROs, maybe set a criteria of, if the customer says no because they can't afford it, maybe that's when a service advisor should come to the service manager. Is it a training, or is it priced wrong, or, whatever it may be. But if we can look at services more as a sales department, I think that's better for our whole industry as a whole.
So Katrina, last summer when you did the internship, and we talked about desking deals in the sales department.
Yeah.
Essentially, a salesperson can't desk their own deal. They got to go to the manager. And dealerships have all these desking tools, right, Trevor? To help
Absolutely.
the manager desk the deal and do it. And Vanessa, we've had Joe St. John talking about, desking deals. So what we're saying right now is that in a lot of dealerships, the service advisor, who is not the manager, can kind of desk their own deals and really whittle away at the profit. Trevor, am I okay with doing that analogy?
100%. I mean, it is absolutely amazing the amount of dealerships that allow their service advisors to essentially make up the prices. You can lock that out in a DMS. Any dealership out there that doesn't have that shut down, I highly, highly recommend you shut that down immediately. If the discount needs to be applied, it needs to go through that manager for sure.
Yeah. I love the idea of kind of tying the sales and service department together and relating how service needs to be run like sales. I've never really thought about it like that, but I find that interesting. I'm curious, Trevor, how did you get into the automotive industry? Because in the green room, we mentioned that you were a fixed ops director in the past, but
yeah. So like most of us, started off still in high school, parking cars. I had a service advisor kind of take me under her wing and start training me, before the manager really knew what was going on. And then it was, hey, can you help that customer, greet this customer? Started there and slowly moved into being an advisor. Went to work for one of the bigger automotive groups, which fortunately for me provided training, unlike most of the automotive business years ago did not provide. And, really, again, going back to career path, they set me up to, if you want to be a manager, here's the things you need to learn. Atcon 7 controllables. We talked about Atcon earlier. It was one of the first books that I read that was like, wow, this is, there's a lot to run in a service department, and slowly just moved up from there. As a client, I did spend about 4 years. I wish I would have found him earlier, was Dynatron. I was a Dynatron client for roughly 4 years before I left retail and ended up joining the Dynatron team here.
that's awesome.
Right. Exciting. So, and by the way, this is so fascinating. Trevor, I would love to have a panel at the upcoming roundtable if we could talk about some of these things specifically that Dynatron addresses in the dealership, like the discounting, and get a number of dealerships, managers, and so on. We can help populate that. I know you've got a lot of clients as well, but I'd love to have that maybe a half-hour conversation on the roundtable and have you help lead that, okay? Because I think that would be super valuable for the industry.
Yeah. I mean, just having the data that the DMS can't supply you with is key.
All right. In the meantime, Vanessa, I think it's that time where we can. Here's Sean Kingery's a hand raiser. Okay, Sean, we're going to count you in on that panel. Tony Owens, you should be in on that as well. Vanessa, let's go to the rewind and let's see some folks from back in the 90s and see if our audience in the chat can guess if they recognize who some of these folks are tonight.
Yeah, for sure. So like Ted said, we are rewinding back to the 90s. So we're going to be playing trivia. It's up to you guys to guess who that 90s star is. So make sure to drop a comment on who you think it is. Let's get started with our first 90s star.
Okay. Right. All right. Here's a young man. Yeah. Any hints, ladies? I know. I know, Vanessa, you know who this is. I imagine Katrina, if she doesn't already, will know. very quickly.
I think a good hint could be just kind of what we talked about earlier. Apple Vision Pro, I think is what it's called. The giveaway.
He looks like he might be going to a fight here, or I'm not quite sure. Right?
Something like that.
He's got some attitude. So this is somebody who's been around with the Roundtable since the very beginning. He's been on the After Dark show, Sean Kingery. He believes it's important to be efficient in the dealership by not having a lot of wasted, let's say, paper hanging around with ROs from past deals. And he helps dealers be efficient with that as well.
Yep.
Okay, here's a guess from Robert Miggs, Brian Benstock. Close, but not Brian Benstock.
Close.
Brian's in New York. This gentleman's in Florida, and he's going to be involved with that Apple Vision Pro that we're giving away in May as well. Sean Kingery, you've been on several panels with this gentleman. Vanessa, I guess we'll have to give it away, right?
Yeah, I guess we'll have to give away. This is Caesar Augustus, everyone.
Caesar Augustus from Dealer Scanning. Okay, and Trevor, they scan the paper files and they help make them electronic for the dealership. So our first
highly needed service for sure.
Yeah, big time. Caesar Augustus.
All right, moving on. Here we go.
All right.
Very young in this picture, but let's see if we can guess.
Here's a cutie, and she is involved with every Fixed Ops Roundtable. Larry Sherman, she doesn't work just in service. She's involved with parts, and she still has that red hair. I'll say that. So, from back in the 90s. Very cute. Yep.
So adorable on her chair.
Yeah. See if we recognize this person. All right, there we go.
Boom. There we go, Larry Sherman.
Kaylee Filio, yeah.
That is Kaylee Filio.
Yep, sure is.
Good job. Yep.
Little Kaylee, yep. She'll be on the roundtable coming up.
Woo!
All
Okay.
right, who we got? Parts Edge. Yep.
Moving on to our third 90s star.
Wow.
Wow.
Is this Trevor, by the way?
No.
I was surprised when I saw this picture of this gentleman from the 90s. So, Katrina, looks like he's in the club, right? He's got a drink.
A drink in his hand and a tank top on. Yeah.
Probably in Jersey, right? Somewhere here.
I love that.
Sean Kingery, you were on a panel with this gentleman, and you would know him very well. Robert, you've been on a panel with him as well. He has a lot to do with recruiting these days, recruiting technicians. I'll give that away as a hint. Yeah, you better believe that, Tony. Got some guns there. Yeah. That's right, Claudia. Yeah.
Bayside shirt and all.
It is Joe Lockard from Motormax Training and Recruiting. Yep. There's Joe from back in the 90s.
So. Awesome.
That's the Tech Vengers panel, everybody, just so you know. Joe leads that panel, does a great job with it. Yes, sir. Sean, Joe Lockard, yep.
There we go. Yes.
Robert.
Oh my goodness. All right. Cooking up a turkey. Probably Thanksgiving.
Yeah, looks like it.
I like that sweater. It's giving 90s.
90s vibe for sure.
So is. We need that for our wardrobe, Katrina.
Yes, we do.
Some real vintage.
Yes, Vanessa, the new wardrobe, right? This will be
Yeah.
the ugly sweaters. This gentleman is involved with training and technology. My daughter works for this gentleman's company. Full disclosure, he told me that a few minutes after they took this picture, he walked to another room and their black Labrador jumped up on the table and took the turkey down and ate a good portion of it before anyone else had a chance to to eat that. So.
Oh no.
Oh, now that's a story.
Robert Sebastian. Yeah. Close. No. It's David O'Brien, everybody, from Quantum 5. So.
Yes, that's David O'Brien. All right, we have one more. Here we go.
Mr.
Our
O'Brien.
last 90s star.
All right. And this young lady will be a guest on the show next week. And she is in Wisconsin. I understand that she relocated there last year from the South. And Sean says he thinks he knows her. Could that be Jamie Alexander, Vanessa?
I see the resemblance. No, but it's not.
It's not. No.
But I could see it. Not a bad guess.
No, and she's in the chat tonight. She's here
Yep.
with us.
She was commenting earlier.
And she has a Southern accent.
Yes, we have. We had the pleasure of meeting her at NADA back in early
that's right.
February.
You
Yep.
guys had that dinner, yeah.
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 Oh, come on, Tony, you got it.
Very athletic here. It's
Yeah.
Kathy Bates, Sean Kengry's better half. So
Love it.
good job with that, everybody. All right. So coming up at the next roundtable, we're going to have a lot more 90s stuff. I want to introduce a couple speakers tonight who will be at the May event. We mentioned Les Silver a little bit earlier today from Dynatron Software. Les is a staple at every Fixed Ops roundtable and a legend in our industry. Les Silver from Dynatron, executive chairman, will be here. There she is, all grown up, Kaylee Filio. Kaylee Filio will be also here with us. You know, I'm tempted to put that picture up of Les from when he was back in the 90s. So here's Les Silver from back in the 90s. But he'll be coming to us along with Steve Greenfield is going to be with us at Automotive Ventures. He'll be on the roundtable. It would not be a roundtable without Brian Kramer. Of course, he'll be with us as well, leading a couple different panels. And here's Cesar Augustus, all grown up, and looking forward to him. And on Wednesday night show, everybody, on After Dark at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, our special guest will be Sarah Vantine live Wednesday night. So we're looking forward to welcoming her on the show. And Sarah will be here to take your questions and interact with all of us. So we're very much looking forward to that. So Trevor, went quick.
Yes.
Yes, it did.
That's it. It always does.
All right. So big event, everybody, coming up in May. Again, it's May 13th through the 16th. FixedOpsRoundtable.com. Get your complimentary tickets. I highly recommend, if you don't have them, get them now to be entered for the, what is it called again? The Katrina, the
Apple Vision Pro.
Apple Vision Pro. All right. So
One day you'll remember it, Ted.
I think so. Yeah. I'm going to get that on. So a lot of folks still in the comments tonight. And I see Robert Migliaccio here, the Queen of Fort. Yep. And a phenomenal job too as well, Larry. All right. So on behalf of Trevor, thank you for being here tonight, by the way.
Yes. Thank you guys for having me.
And Katrina and Vanessa, I'm Ted Ings. We will see you on Wednesday night with Sarah Vantine here at After Dark at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.